I was 6 months pregnant when I learned that carrying life did not earn me respect. It made me a target. My name is Emily. I married Daniel because he said I was his piece. Please try to watch this story to end and drop your comment. I believed him. I didn't know peace could disappear the moment I stepped into his family's house with a baby growing inside me. The first time it happened, I laughed it off. I shouldn't have. Daniel's mother, Linda, looked at my belly and said, "You're eating again. That baby is going to ruin your body." Everyone laughed. I smiled too, even though my chest burned. Daniel squeezed my hand under the table, but he said nothing. That silence would become a habit. The disrespect didn't come all at once. It came in small cuts. "You got pregnant too fast. You trapped my son. You're too emotional. Must be the hormones." His sister Rachel once whispered loud enough for me to hear, "If she loses the baby, at least Daniel can start over." I froze. I waited for Daniel to stand up. He didn't. That night, I cried quietly so the baby wouldn't feel my shaking. I told myself it would get better. I was wrong. By the time I entered my 3rd trimester, Linda no longer hid her dislike. One afternoon, she came to our apartment unannounced. She opened my fridge and sighed like I had offended her personally. "No wonder Daniel looks stressed," she said. "This place smells like pregnancy." I laughed nervously. "I can clean." She waved her hand. "Don't bother, you won't be here long anyway." I blinked. "What do you mean?" She smiled, thin and cold. "Families talk." That was the day fear moved in with me. Daniel started coming home late. When I asked questions, he said, "You're overthinking." When I cried, he said, "You're pregnant, not dying." One night, during dinner at his parents' house, Linda slid a plate toward me with food I was allergic to. "Oh," she said sweetly, "I forgot." Rachel laughed. "Oops, baby brain." I pushed the plate away. Linda leaned close. "If you were stronger, you wouldn't complain so much." Something inside me cracked. I went to the bathroom and stared at my reflection. My eyes were swollen. My hands were shaking. My baby kicked, like a reminder. I whispered, "I will not let them break us." That was the moment my silence ended. I started listening. Really listening. I stopped defending myself. I stopped reacting. I smiled. I nodded. I watched. People talk freely when they think you are weak. 2 weeks later, I overheard a conversation that changed everything. I was in the hallway when Linda said, "Once the baby comes, we'll take over. She won't cope." Rachel replied, "And if Daniel leaves her, custody will be easy. She's unstable." Daniel didn't argue. He said, "Let's just wait." I felt sick. They weren't just disrespecting me. They were planning to erase me. That night, I didn't cry. I opened my laptop, and I began to prepare. I started documenting everything. The insults, the texts, the unannounced visits, the food incident. I recorded calls, I saved messages, I kept dates. Every time Linda smiled fake sweet, I smiled back and wrote it down later. Daniel noticed the change. "You're calm lately," he said. I smiled. "I'm protecting my baby." He didn't know what that really meant. Then came the baby shower. Linda insisted on hosting. I knew it was a trap. I went anyway. The room was full of pink balloons and fake hugs. Linda stood up to give a speech. She cleared her throat. "Pregnancy is hard, especially for women who are emotionally fragile." People chuckled. My hands rested on my belly. My heart was steady. She continued, "We all just hope this baby ends up in the right hands." Silence. I stood up. "I have something to say too," I said. Daniel's face went pale. I pulled out my phone. Linda laughed nervously. "Emily, don't be dramatic." I pressed play. Her voice filled the room. Clear, sharp, cruel. "If she loses the baby, Daniel can start over." Gasps. Rachel stood up. That's taken out of context. I pressed play again. Another recording, another insult. Faces changed, smiles died. Daniel whispered, "Emily, stop." I looked at him. "You should have stopped them first." The room erupted. Linda screamed, Rachel cried, guests whispered. I held my belly and said calmly, "This child will not grow up watching his mother be abused." Then I walked out. That night, Daniel begged. "We can fix this," he said. I looked at him and realized something painful. Love without protection is not love. I moved out the next morning. Not in secret. With witnesses. With my files backed up. With my head high. Linda started calling. Rachel started threatening. Daniel started apologizing. Too late. I wasn't finished. Not even close. Because the real payback wasn't public embarrassment. The silence after I moved out was louder than any insult they had ever thrown at me. For the first time in months, I slept through the night. No knocking. No fake smiles. No whispers behind doors. Just me, my growing belly, and the slow sound of my own breathing. But peace never lasts long when people are afraid of losing control. Daniel showed up 3 days later. He stood outside my sister Sarah's house, holding flowers like a movie scene gone wrong. "Emily, please," he said, "we need to talk." I crossed my arms. "Talk about what? How your family planned to take my baby?" His eyes filled with tears. I didn't know it was that bad. I laughed, a short, broken sound. "You heard them, you just chose comfort over courage." Sarah opened the door behind me. "She's tired, leave." Daniel reached out, then stopped. "Just don't do anything you'll regret," he said. I smiled softly. "Oh, Daniel," I replied, "I already regret trusting you." That night, Linda posted on Facebook. A long post. Full of lies. "She's unstable. She's keeping our grandchild from us." We tried to help. People commented. Some believed her. Some didn't. But all eyes were now on me. And that was exactly where I wanted them. I didn't respond right away. I waited. Let the story spread. Let the lies grow bigger. Because lies collapse harder when they fall. 2 days later, I posted one photo. Just one. It was a screenshot of a message from Linda. "If you don't let us control things, we will make sure the court sees who you really are." I didn't write anything else. No caption. No explanation. The comments exploded. Daniel called me over and over. I didn't answer. Rachel sent a message. "You think you're smart. You're pregnant and alone. You won't win." I stared at the screen and placed my hand on my belly. "You hear that?" I whispered to my baby. "They think we're weak." The baby kicked. Hard. I smiled. The next surprise came from someone I didn't expect. Daniel's Aunt Mary. She knocked on Sarah's door with shaking hands. "I need to talk to you," she said. We sat at the table. She looked nervous, like she was finally choosing a side. "I've seen this before," she said quietly. "They did it to Daniel's ex." My stomach dropped. "Ex?" I asked. She nodded. "She was pregnant too. She disappeared." The room spun. "What do you mean disappeared?" Mary swallowed. "Linda said she lost the baby and moved away, but no one ever heard from her again." My hands clenched. The puzzle pieces slammed together. This wasn't bullying. It was a pattern. That night, I didn't sleep. I researched. Names, dates, old social media accounts. And then I found her. Jessica. She lived 2 states away. She had a child. And a story. Jessica answered my message at 2:14 a.m. Her reply was short. "I've been waiting for someone like you." We talked for hours. She told me everything. The insults. The control. The threats. The custody talk. I ran, she said. I gave birth alone. Tears rolled down my face. They almost did it again, I whispered. Jessica replied, not if we stop them. The next morning, Linda filed a report. She claimed I was mentally unstable and endangering my unborn child. The police showed up. My heart raced. Sarah held my hand. I showed them my medical records, my prenatal visits, my therapy notes, everything clean. The officer looked uncomfortable. Ma'am, he said, this seems like a family dispute. I nodded. It is, and I'm done being quiet. Linda didn't expect the visit to fail. She didn't expect me to be prepared. And she definitely didn't expect what I did next. I contacted a lawyer. A female one. Sharp eyes, calm voice. Her name was Angela. She listened without interrupting. Then she said, they underestimated you. She smiled. That's their biggest mistake. Daniel sent one final message. Please stop. My mom is sick. Rachel is scared. You're tearing the family apart. I typed slowly. I didn't tear it apart. I pulled the curtain back. Then I turned my phone off. Because the next move wasn't emotional. It was strategic. And once it started, there would be no turning back. They thought the baby shower was my revenge. They had no idea that was just the warning. The first letter arrived on a Monday morning. White envelope. Official seal. Linda's name typed neatly on the front. I didn't open it right away. I made tea. I sat down. I let my baby kick 3 times before I broke the seal. It was a cease and desist letter. From my lawyer. To her. Angela had worked fast. The letter warned Linda to stop harassment, stop defamation, and stop contacting me directly or indirectly. It listed dates, quotes, screenshots, every ugly word she thought no one would ever see. I imagined Linda reading it, her smile slipping. For the first time, she wasn't in control. Rachel reacted first. She showed up at Sarah's house screaming. You think legal threats scare us? She yelled through the door. You're nothing. Sarah called the police. Rachel left before they arrived. I wrote it down. Time. Date. Witness. Daniel called that night. His voice was shaking. My mom's blood pressure is high, he said. She can't sleep. Why are you doing this? I stayed calm. Why did you let them do it to me? I asked. Silence. That silence finally answered every question I had ever asked in our marriage. Angela called me the next day. They're panicking, she said, which means we're close to something important. I rubbed my belly. Close to what? She paused. The truth always makes people panic. Then something strange happened. Linda stopped posting. Rachel stopped texting. Daniel stopped calling. Too quiet. I didn't trust quiet. Jessica warned me. When they go silent, she said, they're planning. She was right. 2 days later, I was tagged in a post. A fundraiser. Help a family save an unborn child. Linda's face smiled from the photo. The description said I was refusing medical care and isolating myself. My hands trembled. Not from fear. From anger. They were using my pregnancy as a weapon. Again. Angela saw it within minutes. Oh, that's bad, she said. For them, I asked. She smiled. Very. We moved fast. Angela sent takedown requests. We documented the donations. We traced the false claims. And then Angela asked me a question that made my heart stop. Are you ready to go public? I swallowed. Public how? Court filings, affidavits, witnesses, she said, including Jessica. My baby kicked hard. I whispered, I'm ready. Jessica flew in the following week. When I saw her in person, I understood everything. She looked calm, strong, but her eyes carried history. "They told me I was crazy too," she said, holding my hands. "You're not." For the first time, I felt truly seen. We sat together in Angela's office. Jessica signed a statement. So did Aunt Mary. So did Sarah. Piece by piece, the picture formed. Not a misunderstanding. A system. Daniel showed up unexpectedly. He looked smaller somehow. "I didn't know how deep this went," he said. Jessica stared at him. "You knew enough," she replied. Daniel flinched. "I just wanted everyone to get along," he said. I laughed. "That's what people say when they let abuse happen," I replied. He tried to touch my belly. I stepped back. "This child will know safety," I said, "even if it's not with you." The court date was set. Temporary custody hearing. Linda filed for grandparent rights before the baby was even born. I almost admired the audacity. Almost. The night before the hearing, I couldn't sleep. Fear crept in. What if they won? What if money talked louder than truth? I placed my hand on my stomach. "I'm scared," I whispered. The baby kicked gently this time. Like a reminder. Morning came too fast. Angela met me outside the courthouse. "You okay?" she asked. I nodded. I didn't come this far to be quiet again. Inside, Linda avoided my eyes. Rachel looked furious. Daniel looked broken. The judge looked bored. That would change. Linda's lawyer spoke first. He painted me as unstable, emotional, manipulative. I listened quietly. I had learned something important. Truth doesn't rush. When it was our turn, Angela stood. She spoke calmly. She played recordings. She submitted messages. She called Jessica. Gasps filled the room. Linda whispered, "She's lying." Jessica looked straight at the judge. "I ran to protect my child," she said. "She stayed to protect hers." The judge leaned forward. That was when I realized something powerful. This wasn't just my fight anymore. And the next move, what Angela planned to reveal next, would make it impossible for them to pretend this was just a family problem. They had no idea how close they were to losing everything they thought they owned. The judge raised his hand, and the room went quiet. "Enough," he said. Linda opened her mouth, but no sound came out. For the first time since I met her, she looked small. The judge looked at me, not at my belly, not at my tears, at my face. "I see a mother trying to protect her unborn child," he said slowly, "and I see a family that crossed serious boundaries." Rachel shook her head. Daniel stared at the floor. Linda finally spoke. "We were just concerned." Concern does not sound like threats. The judge replied. My heart pounded so loud, I could hear it in my ears. The ruling came fast. No contact. No harassment. No grandparent rights, for now. Linda's face collapsed. Daniel whispered my name. I didn't look at him. Outside the courthouse, cameras waited. Reporters, bloggers, phones held high. Angela leaned in. "You don't have to say anything." I shook my head. I stepped forward. "I am pregnant," I said, my voice steady. "Not powerless, not unstable, just done being disrespected." The crowd went silent. That night, I sat on the bed and finally cried. Not from pain. From release. I had stood up. I had protected my baby. I had taken my power back. Or so I thought. Because power doesn't disappear quietly. And neither do people who are used to control. As I turned off my phone, a single message came through from an unknown number. "You think this is over. It's just beginning." I placed my hand on my belly and whispered, calm but certain. "Then I'm ready." And this time, I wasn't fighting alone. Thanks for watching. Kindly subscribe to this channel and on the notification for more interesting stories.